Week 6 Assignment Part 2 The Denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula by Mark Banning. The Korean War started on June 25, 1950, when North Korea invaded South Korea, leading to US military involvement. The conflict ended with an armistice, but the US continues to maintain a military presence in South Korea for defence. A major concern is North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons, highlighted by missile tests and failure to meet international standards. The US has invested $10.8 billion in a military base in Pyeongtaek, raising questions about resource allocations and the long-term presence in the region. The key parties in the Korean Peninsula dynamics are North Korea, the US, South Korea, China, Russia, and Japan. North Korea, led by Kim Jong-un, sees its nuclear arsenal as vital for survival against US threats, strengthening ties with Russia, and engaging selectively with China. The US seeks denuclearization and supports South Korea and Japan military while imposing sanctions on North Korea. South Korea, under President Lee Jae-myung, favours a phased denuclearization, but has met with rejection from North Korea and debates nuclear armament. China supports denuclearization but is reluctant to pressure North Korea, while Russia deepens ties with North Korea, undermining sanctions. Japan works with the US and South Korea to ensure regional security and aims for denuclearization. North Korea demands recognition as a nuclear weapons state and the abandonment of denuclearization talks before engaging in dialogue with the US. This position contrasts with South Korea's gradual plan to freeze and dismantle North Korea's nuclear arsenal. While the US upholds its denuclearization policy, it is also shifting towards deterrence. Currently, sanctions, military exercises, and threats persist without formal negotiations. A power struggle exists, with North Korea seeking recognition, while the US and South Korea use economic influence and military presence. Russia's support for North Korea further complicates sanctions. The security situation in East Asia is shaped by key alliances. The US, South Korea, and Japan focus on denuclearization and stability, while North Korea and Russia strengthen their partnership against Western influence. China remains ambiguous, engaging with both sides. South Korea seeks China's influence over North Korea, and the US urges China to apply pressure. The UN has imposed sanctions, and the IAEA is trying to engage North Korea, yet formal mediation is lacking. Recently, the US has increased security talks with South Korea and Japan, especially around the APEC meetings, to reinforce their alliance amid heightened tensions. The impact of cultural differences on negotiations is significant, particularly between US and Asian communication styles. The relationship between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un illustrates the challenges, as their talks did not lead to an agreement. The ongoing Korean War shows that a formal peace treaty could address North Korea's security concerns and aid in denuclearization. A regional consortium could foster economic development, while security guarantees from major powers, possibly including a reduced US military presence in South Korea, would enhance the negotiation climate. Aligning peace, economic incentives, and security insurances would benefit all parties involved. The situation requires a phased and verifiable denuclearization process, potentially in exchange for a peace treaty, sanctions removal, security assurances, and economic aid to promote regional stability. However, military conflict could arise from miscalculations, especially if North Korea conducts further nuclear tests, prompting South Korea or Japan to consider nuclear programs and increase tensions. Currently, the status quo is characterized by stable coexistence with high military tensions, ongoing sanctions, and missile tests, which pose a risk of escalation.